Hello everyone, I'm Paige Shelley, here with a new episode of Pop Takez. We are here to discuss the new Joker movie.
I'm Francisco Melendez, and today we're breaking from tradition. Instead of arguing about our favorite X thing, we'll be discussing the controversy surrounding the Joker movie. So, Joker, it's coming out this weekend, and the aim for DC was to sort of start experimenting more with their characters. And with this one, the conceit is that they're exploring the Joker's backstory. In this case, he is a down on his luck man. He takes care of his elderly mother. He's a failing clown that's trying to become a comedian.
Right.
And as the movie progresses, we won't really be getting into deep spoilers here. He turns to the dark side and
Right.
becomes the Joker.
Yes. So the Joker was isolated and bullied as a kid, and I think a lot of that is why he has become mentally ill. Obviously, it wasn't going good with him trying to be a comedian, and I think because he was so isolated as a kid and bullied and nobody liked him, that's why it's resulted into him becoming mentally ill.
That's one of the first topics that people have been bringing up is that this movie really goes deep into the Joker's mental illness, which it's always been an element there. It's just they usually don't go into it, but in this one, they actually, it's set in a more realistic world. It's I think 1970s New York, more or less. So they really try to ground it in this case. And that's where some of the issues people have are coming, not necessarily with the mental illness, because we've recently had superheroes deal with PTSD and stuff like that. It's more the issues of you're taking this character that people, despite being a very villainous figure, people idolize the Joker. Like in the Christopher Nolan movies, he was, a killer, an anarchist. He was trying to basically burn the city to the ground, and people still idolize him to this day. So there's some concerns, and it raises the question, how can you make a movie like this where your character is so deeply flawed and cruel and evil without glorifying him,
Right. Well, I think we do need to keep to mind that this is a comic book character, and it is fictional, and it's supposed to be entertaining. You know what I mean? So although it is really talking about his mental illness, we need to remember this is for entertainment. This isn't something that we necessarily need to take too seriously, in my opinion.
Yeah, for me, at least, my issue, having hadn't seen the movie, and a large part of this depends on how well they do it. There are some movies We Need to Talk About Kevin is a movie I really enjoy that has a character who, without spoiling that movie, near the end commits an act of terror, and the movie is very careful to show us how he came to that conclusion without making us sympathize with him too much and idolizing him. With the Joker, the concern is that they've gone as dark as they can with the Joker, and in this movie they're trying to portray him as more of a real figure. Todd Phillips confirmed that his aim with this movie was to show a deeply flawed individual and showing how he got to the point where he is. And for me, the concern is that
Are you concerned that people are going to
not imitate,
Okay,
but
not imitate. Okay.
But here's the thing, because of course, a lot of people bring up, is this going to inspire a real life Joker, which it just won't happen. People bring that up with video games. Recently, the movie Hustlers started having controversies about that, but the issues...
I agree because, there's movies made about actual serial killers. For instance, the Ted Bundy movie, they're showing a serial killer. Does that mean people watching are going to become serial killers? They're going to want to kill people? That movie was brutal and violent. That's literally the title of it. I think that just because people are watching a movie about violence doesn't mean that they're going to become violent because of that.
Yeah, the issue a lot of media, people who study media find is that, someone who's watching, in this case, the Joker, won't become the Joker. The issue is sometimes they'll take the values of the movie to heart and they'll think, without getting too political in our media, sometimes we see that people will sympathize with shooters and stuff like that, with people who commit acts of terror like this, especially with white men, and there's a concern that this movie will perpetuate that idea that anyone who commits these horrible acts was pushed to do that by our society, and that it was a logical conclusion for that. And well, the movie comes out this weekend.
Yes.
So with
yeah,
that,
I know. I want to see it. I need to see
yeah.
it. So thank you guys for joining us on another episode of Pop Takes. If you want to watch more of our content, go check out mutv.missouri.edu. We will see you next time.